Good day to you. Today I want to speak to you about long-lasting relationships and why they are enduring, and then successful in leadership. How does that happen? We have all heard the CASK, C-A-S-K, character, attitude, skill, knowledge. We know character and attitude must grow parallel with skill and knowledge, or else we are waiting for a disaster to happen. So Psalm 139 verse 1 says, "O Lord, you have searched me and known me." So in relationships, there's a searching and knowing. That is what a relationship is. I'm not speaking specifically about marriage relationship because it needs much more time. Now I'm talking about relationship in work fields, professional fields, in leadership in those fields. So there's a searching and knowing kind of relationship that comes into leadership. If not, you can practice management, which means you hire the person, recruit the person for the gift and ability he has, and you don't mind his character or how he does it. You say, just show me results. In fact, in the corporate, people can get terminated or for not showing results, though they were charactered. Of course, we know we have to have results, but we must calculate and weigh and see, without character and attitudes, if we go for skill and knowledge and success, what kind of organization, what kind of society, what kind of community group are we building? So this matters for home also. If your kids all the time hear from you, perform or perish, sink or swim, you are not getting into their character, you are just giving them goals. So it matters how they get to their goal. There's an initiation, there's a navigation, there's a successful end conclusion, and there is a good reward. God describes himself as a rewarder of them that do things diligently, in the faith field or otherwise. And Proverbs 18:16 says, "A man's gift will make space for him to come before kings and nobles and great men." And Proverbs 22:29 says, "The diligent man who is diligent in his work, will not serve mean people. He will go great places." So that is expected, that is desired. But what happens is, if you only look at the effect of the gift and the space you have, it becomes a fig leaf. This comes from an old story in the Garden of Eden, when Adam and Eve were offered a real great offer. That this offer, they were given a work field by the good Father in heaven, and provided all the resources they need, all the knowledge they need, within boundaries of how they will do it right in a God-pleasing manner. But they got a second offer by a tempter, a usurper. They said, "You are going to have a field where it will please you all your physical senses. It will be superb." And he offered them everything your eye pleases you can have. It looked an unmatchable offer, and it was an offer a father can't make. And then they were told, in doing this, achieving success, you can feel like God. You will never need him. And they went for that. And when they found their mistake and they saw what they were denuded, in fact, value denuded, they made for themselves fig leaves. And so I use the term fig leaf for temporary gift-based success that is not matched with character, and the fig leaf will wither away. The success you can have with your gift and expertise will not last longer. The character and relationships that you make will do for you well, and you will not have sudden catastrophe or come down. So basically my talk is going to be based on how to emphasize, how to have a emphasis on your character and attitude while you go places with your gift. We have already seen that there's a generous giving God has given for everyone. You may be high-born, low-born, it doesn't matter. You may not be socially very connected, your parents may not be known, you may be from a remote corner. It doesn't matter, because there is one who has generously given to everyone. The generous giving. Life story is about the generous giving becoming a completed gift. So say with me, gift. Which means as you grow your generous giving and the character and the resources, you are becoming a benefactor, not merely a beneficiary. And the whole thing involves beneficence. As you grow, as you are completing your gift with the generous giving you have got, maybe from parents, from God of course, and all your mentors and teachers, the generous giving you got, you are developing it into a gift with which you can give expertise, knowledge, skill, as well as character development for others who are working with you, even to your boss, your colleagues and your juniors. This is what I call searching for knowledge, which will make you excellent. There is a search, there is a gift and knowledge basis, but it comes through relationships in which you are becoming excellent. So search to know. So this is true even with your juniors and colleagues. Search to know them. So what's the curriculum? The generous giving you have got is becoming a completed gift out of which you can give at every stage: junior executive, senior management, director level, chairman level. You got into you the attitude and the character of a benefactor, and your scope increases. Initially, your company would be serving 12 people, would be employing 12 people. Initially, in fact, you were a wage earner. Now you are a wage dealer. You are able to employ others. Then you come to the stage of employing 20 people. Then you come to the stage of employing 100 people. Because now your gift as benefactor, which was built out of God's generous giving, and you are good in resources, and developed it to become a benefactor. There are 7 areas of which you will be having a certain measure of the 7, but you need to know what you are particularly gifted with, particularly designed for. For instance, I found early that I had a researcher's mind. So when I got into the medical profession and became a medical academic, I found many different things in a certain section. Let's say aspirin. Things about aspirin that others have not thought about while doing research in Sri Lanka. Things about Parkinsonism and levodopa others have not thought about. Then to my ward came medical conditions that have not been described ever before in the world, when I was working with the professor of medicine, Colombo. So I picked them up because I had a researcher's intuition to see, hear, feel what others have not. So here I will list out these 7 areas of gifting. You might call it character attributes. You might call it fatherhood abilities. You might call them vocations or callings. I'll read them out to you, then you can suss out for yourself what is it that you are best at or you're operating in, and what have you missed out. Through the grace given to me, I say to everyone among you, not to think more highly of himself than he ought to think. So about what you have, you need to think highly, but not more highly than you ought. If you don't think highly, you're all the time saying, I have not got anything, my father amounted for nothing, I'll amount for nothing, my country is on a downward trend. I never speak like that, because I constantly think the grace given to me, and everyone there is a grace given, I think highly of what God has given me as I ought to think, not more highly. That is just proudful and boasting. So say to yourself, ask yourself, what is it that, what grace has come to me in what particular field, I am going to think of myself, my ability, my capacity highly, not more highly. So don't put yourself down. Moment you are on this put yourself down mode, you become jealous of others who seem to have more. And you enter struggle for existence. You believe Darwin and the fittest surviving. And you're always on a low note for yourself and see everybody, others as a high note, and you become envious and you may start trying to put them down. So that's not the way to go. Think highly of what you have. Identify it carefully. Then do not think more highly, but think highly, and and have sound judgment, as God has allotted to each a measure. There's a measure of faith of the doable. Faith is doable. And if you involve God in the doable, what you feel now is limited, a God ability comes into you. Otherwise, your past, what your parents couldn't do, what went wrong with your father, how you missed educational opportunities or you lacked, lack begins to speak to you more than what you have. And all the time you are counting what you don't have rather than think highly of what you have. That's where faith comes in. So don't think faith is for fools. Faith is a function of the man's spirit. And everyone has spirit that has come from God the Father. And faith thinks, the spirit thinks faith, the ability, the possible, the doable, according to the measure you have been given. Did you get that? So say with me, faith thinks the doable. Faith thinks the possible. Otherwise, anything comes your way impossible and you tell your boss, can't do this, too tedious. But with faith, you stretch your maximum till your maximum increases. That's how faith works. So faith certainly in God, also in the fact that He has put into you the doable part to add step by step to increase the doable amount. That's how your brain, that's how you must function. First at your company level, then a little more, then a little more, then beyond Sri Lanka, what you do has begin to have effect. So that's how the research that I got into had effect beyond Sri Lanka. So this is possible for everyone if you do step at a time, think highly of what you have got, not more highly, deploy that, and do with faith the doable. Then the doability increases. So what are the 7 kinds? So we have gifts that differ according to the grace given to us. So grace is received, so we want to be thankful and grateful. That's what grace means, thankful and grateful. So you have received it. So first one is prophecy, which means to see before others, speculation, hear before others, to get a knowledge, get to it first. That's what prophecy people are. You are forward in your thinking. So every field is forward thinkers, isn't it, in marketing or whatever. So it's a character attribute. And then academics and researchers think out things others have not thought about. I even may venture to say God drops thoughts about investments. God drops thoughts about academic research. That's my field. Then those who are into photography, they see an angle for photography that others haven't seen. Do it seeing. Then those into music get a hearing that others haven't got, and they create music. Those into art, they draw and create something, and we say, how well done, how did you get this? Did you see that? So that prophecy nature, seeing and hearing and feeling more than others, works in many different fields. And you get, as an investor, you get a sense of, I need to withdraw my investments from this area and invest more in that area. You get a sense of the trends and the actuaries. So in many fields, this gift operates. It has come from God, and your company can benefit, your family can benefit, others can benefit, because your foresight, your insight, even your hindsight is helpful for future application. And your company will recognize that for your field. The second one is maybe easier to understand. The Greek is diakonia, that is servicing what others begin. So this needs humility, but without them you can't function. In the ward it will be, there are medical people and nursing people, and there are attendants, lab technicians, daily laborers. They do humdrum work, but without them you can't carry on. So you need to recognize them openly, remunerate them sufficiently, and acknowledge them. They are there for services. Simple, humble jobs, but they have a disposition to do it cheerfully. Your peon, your clerk, who your PA, they do a simple, humble job. You can't do without them. So appreciate them. Third gift area is about teaching. That's easy to understand. Of course, your gift and vocation makes you also. Teachers tend to be inflexible. They work to standards. They can't bend them. They can't bend the rules. Engineers, then accountants, lawyers, they have fields in which they have to be precise. So they have to do it precisely. Then we have another gift is encouragement. Hospitality people, human resource people, they are in encouraging industries. That's very important. The coaching, those who coach, they coach another to improve their skill. They come alongside people. The Greek word used is paraklesis. So you might be an encourager. Human resource people must get the best out of their people. Speak to them well, and in problem times, conflict resolution, negotiation, arbitration. So that's a very important field. You'll understand that. No field can be second to the other field. Then we have those who money multiply. They give their money resources, all hand resources, for further development of livelihoods. That's what people with money should do. Now, people with money are tempted to put it into more securities, put it into more financial instruments that may not necessarily multiply employment. But let's say you put 50% into financial instruments, and 50% of your profit you put back into a manufacture, into an industry. So you have some investments, but because God has said you are given money to multiply work, money and livelihoods for others, that's your role. So you have a gift to make money to work. Very important gift. So think of it without saving everything or putting it into financial instruments that do not provide livelihoods. Put your money into fields that provide livelihood. This is for people who have a lot of money. On the other hand, you may start with a little money and keep increasing by wise investment, by speculation, putting it in the right place. And when you are into providing livelihoods for other families, God gets involved in it. So the promise is He anoints your head with oil. He makes your cup to be full and run over. From the run over, you start new industries, new ventures, new projects that employ others, gives livelihood to others. Then He furnishes the table, is the promise in Psalm 23. So from the table, more and more people can earn livelihoods. Initially, 7 were employed in your company. Later, 70 are involved. I know a company in Sri Lanka that exports desiccated coconut. They have a 6,000 workforce, and trusting God, they get on with it even during COVID time. Such a difficult time for the food industry. Not one day did they have to close down the factory. Somehow God kept it going. So that's just an example of how money multiplication involved with work deployment, increasing livelihoods for others, has a God blessing. Then the sixth one is that this needs liberality, where you need a liberal heart to take a risk, a calculated risk, to give more livelihood for others. God is in it. God will be on your side. So even in Sri Lanka, lots of fields have come out for young people, for investment opportunities. They can make their instrument and sell it, and they come and do it for companies. I know a young man like that. I know 2-3 young men like that who are making a handsome amount because of the instrument they have made. They are not wage earners, they are businessmen. It's okay to be a wage earner. It's okay to be a businessman. So there are many business fields. So before thinking of fleeing the country, where many have fled to other countries as cleaners and carers, and they find it very difficult to survive when you have had a high corporate job here and then trying to be a carer in another country, having worked in a private hospital here and got a little diploma saying you are a carer, a health giver. It's not an easy job. See what you can do with your God posting in this nation. Teach your children also that. So this is not onto that, but this is about managing your 7 gifts so that your gift and your character grow together and you get into big spaces, and the generous giving you receive is becoming a completed gift out of which you can become a benefactor of ever increasing fields of livelihood. Then 6th one is, he who leads, lead with diligence. So the leader is one who understands what the other's gift is about and deploy it carefully. And the leader has to have endurance, tolerance, generosity. That's very diligence and generosity. Why generosity? That others will do in their gift. Then you as leader get the benefit of it when you are teaching them, giving of your expertise of generosity and leading, so that their gift called space expands and you expand with them. So think of lifelong relationships, keeping people, don't just fire people, long-term relationship. So there was a company in Sri Lanka that at a certain stage the chairman made the deputy chairman out of many directors, and they did very well. So I'm suggesting to you, a leader is one who scouts out for space and boundary enhancement for others. That's the main leadership quality. You see the boundary and you see how to give a next step, a stretch, and a next sprint. That's the leader. And you have to do that for your son also. You have to do that for your daughter also. I have written much about this. I'm Dr. Lalith Mendis. If you want any more reason and science clips, please send a WhatsApp to 074-211-5011. If you are from overseas, please send it to +94 74 211 5011. Yes. If Sri Lanka 074 211 5011, it has to be a WhatsApp. Then I have my app, Golden Nuggets. It's downloadable free of cost from App Store or Google. Many more talks like this. This is my 766th one. And today the talk is on gift and character maximized. Finally, the last gift I want to talk to you is about show mercy cheerfully. So if you ask me, or if I ask you, what are the professions that need mercy, you will immediately say medicine, doctors and nurses. Yes, but in every field, mercy is being able to take one's wrong and having patience and mercy to correct it and give him the best chance possible for recovery. For that, of course, you need God's heart, isn't it? So there is a little talk on this topic of gift and character maximize. We'll meet again. Thank you for listening.